Assalamu alaikum, you're watching the Rifaat show and I'm your host Rifaat. Today I'll be discussing minority rights in Pakistan, and my specific focus will be on Christians because they're the ones who have bore the brunt of many social injustices in Pakistan, and we're to be blamed for that. I won't say all Pakistanis, but some of them, because we have this preconceived notion that Christians are, the ones who are designated for these type of jobs. And why I'm linking this very example, I'm linking it to my own experience, where I've seen in my university there are many people, subordinates, who are working, who are sweeping the floors, who are cleaning the bathrooms, who are Christians. And believe it or not, in our households we get to see people who are recruiting domestic help, and those people, majority of those people are Christians, because we have created this preconceived notion that they are the ones who are created for this type of job. Christians are created to sweep the floors. They're created to clean the bathrooms, wipe the floors, and do so many other domestic chores, which is not really the case. Another factor I'd like to highlight is regarding the opportunities which Christians are not really given. And why they are not given? Because they, despite having great credentials, fancy credentials, and colorful resumes, they're still neglected of certain jobs. They're still given the position of subordinates when they're more qualified for that. And another part that I would like to highlight here is the anecdote that I would like to share with you all is that one of my friends, who is a Christian, told me that the teacher, one of her teachers, created an uncomfortable atmosphere for her for studying. Why? Because she was a Christian. So you can imagine that this type of mentality is embedded in our culture. It's embedded in Pakistan, and we really need to get rid of it, because it's harming not just Christians but all minorities. Because if you treat a certain minority in a specific type of way, you will control or do the same type of act out the same way for the rest of the minorities, whether it's Hindus, whether it's Buddhists, whether it's Sikh, whether it's even Muslims, because we have also created a divide among Muslims, which is another sad factor. So I can completely understand that Christians are mistreated for certain reasons. 2016 saw a rise in the death toll of Christians who were being murdered for no apparent reason. There was no logical backing behind why they were being killed. So you can imagine that this is a mentality which is existent in Pakistan. We do not hold our own culture as equal to all other cultures. We hold our culture above all cultures, which is wrong. Whether it's related to their beliefs, whether it's related to our ideologies, and we do not want anyone else to, question our own ideologies, but we can question other people. That is hypocrisy itself. Lastly, I would just like to say that we can relate this to education. We might think that we are educated, we might think that we have these fancy degrees on us, but then again, having a degree does not mean that you are educated enough morally. You are not really educated enough to deal with certain people. You're not educated enough to create peace for people. You're not educated enough to create a friendly zone and live in harmony with different people. Just because they have a different color than you, just because they do not have enough opportunities than you, that does not really mean that you demean them further. And also the justice system of Pakistan, though there are many rights, minority rights, which exist in Pakistan's constitution, but they're not being implemented because the media only wants us to show only some parts of information which we want to know. They don't want to show us the entire truth. So I guess it's really important for the media to be liberal in this particular case, report these cases, and be peace-loving, live in harmony, and let others live. Get rid of this discriminatory attitude. Get rid of prejudice. These are the elements, because it will start from you, it will start from me, it will start from everyone. So if I take one step forward, one of us should also take a step forward. And then raising awareness through media, through social media, through these powerful tools which we have, which we do not really use, we only use for entertainment purposes, why not use them for educational purposes? So it's important to not just involve yourself in education, it's important to involve yourself in extracurricular activities in which you can do community services for these type of people. You can really talk to your family members about this, talk to your friends, and that's how we can really make a difference.